Good day to one and all. Today, in this video, we will be learning about amalgamation and absorption. So, in amalgamation and absorption, we will be touching upon the basics of what do you mean by amalgamation and what do you mean by absorption and how is amalgamation different from absorption. So, with this, we will move on to understand what do you mean by amalgamation. In general term, many people get confused between amalgamation and absorption. So let us clearly understand what is the difference between amalgamation and absorption by understanding the meaning first and then moving on to the differences. Now whenever we see amalgamation, it is a combination of two or more companies into a new entity. So therefore, amalgamation is a process where two or more existing companies liquidate and jointly form a new company. For example, let's say Honda company and Hero company. Honda company was into automobile manufacturing and selling, and Hero company was also into automobile manufacturing and selling. These two companies liquidated in order to form a new company called Hero Honda. Therefore, this kind of combination is called as amalgamation. Another point to be noted here in amalgamation is that it is not necessary that two companies that are liquidating and jointly forming as a new company need not be in the same nature of business. They can also do a different kind of business. So whenever you say amalgamation, it can also be called as merger of companies, where one company and the other company tries to liquidate themselves, merge together in order to form a single company. Now, the major reason why companies go into amalgamation or merger is to avoid the cutthroat competition. The current example that we could give you is that happened in the telecommunication industry. Okay, so amalgamation can be of various types. It can be a vertical amalgamation or a horizontal amalgamation or a conglomerate amalgamation. Now let me tell you what do you mean by a vertical amalgamation. A vertical amalgamation is where two or more companies that are existing but doing different kind of business liquidate themselves in order to form a new company. Then such kind of amalgamation is called as a vertical amalgamation. I repeat, vertical amalgamation or a vertical merger is a kind of a amalgamation where two companies doing a different kind of business liquidate themselves in order to form a new company is called as a vertical amalgamation. Secondly, we have an amalgamation known as horizontal merger or horizontal amalgamation. In case of horizontal merger or horizontal amalgamation, the two companies that are going to form as a new company will do the same nature of business. For example, as I've shown you in the slide, Honda and Hero both are into automobile manufacturing. So when these companies merge together and form a single company called Hero Honda, where both the companies are into the same nature of business, we call such amalgamation as horizontal amalgamation or horizontal merger. Now we also have another category of amalgamation called conglomerate amalgamation, where the two companies that are going to combine are nowhere related to each other, or they are doing an exactly indifferent kind of business, but they try to find some kind of synergy effect in them, and therefore they come into as a new company, newly formed company. So when companies that are purely doing a different kind or different field of business combine together, we call it as a conglomerate amalgamation or a conglomerate merger. So in simple, what is amalgamation? Amalgamation is a process where two or more companies either doing the same kind of business or a different kind of business liquidate and jointly form as a new company and start fresh is called as amalgamation. So with that, we will go with an example. For example, let's say company X liquidates and company Y also liquidates. These two companies liquidating and becoming a new company is called as amalgamation. So these are the major reasons where companies try to liquidate and form a new company. For example, the companies may liquidate majorly in order to find out some synergy effect or to cut down the competition that is existing in the market. Now, the other advantages of amalgamation are to increase the research and development facilities. Secondly, the competition between the company gets eradicated drastically. That is, the cutthroat competition that is prevailing in the market can be reduced. Thirdly, in order to stabilize the prices of goods that are to be sold in the market can be maintained. And at last, to reduce the operating cost. So these are the major reasons why companies go into amalgamation. Now, whenever we talk about amalgamation, as I told you, there are two companies involved, namely the transferor company and the transferee company. Now, what do you mean by a transferor company? The company which is amalgamated into another company is called as the transferor company. And what do you mean by a transferee company? The company into which the transferor company is amalgamated is called as a transferee company. Okay. So with this, we will understand what do you mean by absorption. Absorption refers to the purchase of an existing company by another existing company. For example, Myntra was an existing company and Flipkart was also an existing company. Okay, wherein Flipkart purchased Myntra and therefore you have only one company that is existing in the market called Flipkart. So here in case of absorption, what happens? One company tries to purchase another company, and therefore the underlying note here is, in case of absorption, there is no new company to be formed. Whereas in absorption, there is a new company that is floated or formed. Whereas in absorption, there is no new company that will be formed. We shall quickly understand what is the difference between amalgamation and absorption. Now, if you look into the diagram that I've pictured here, in case of amalgamation, you have two companies called company A and company B. Now, company A also liquidates and company B also liquidates. These both companies liquidate themselves and become a new company called company C. So, this is an example of amalgamation. Okay. So, moving on to absorption, look into the example. Similarly, we have company A and company B. But in this example, what is happening? Company A is purchasing company B, and only company A exists in the market, and B is liquidated completely. So this is an example of amalgamation and absorption. So hope you have understood what is amalgamation, what is absorption, and what is the key major difference between amalgamation and absorption. Now we shall have a quick glance into the major differences between amalgamation and absorption. So in case of amalgamation, if you see, a new company will always be formed. Hero liquidated, Honda liquidated, formed Hero Honda. Whereas in case of absorption, there is no new company that is going to be floated or formed. One existing company purchases another existing company. That's all. So here in case of absorption, there is no new company to be formed. The third major difference is that in case of amalgamation, at least two companies must liquidate in order to become a new company. Whereas in case of absorption, only one company is liquidated, wherein whose business is being taken over by the other company. Okay. The last major difference is that in case of amalgamation, no company dominates another company. They liquidate and form a new company in order to find a synergy effect. So what do you mean by a synergy effect? It's an idea where 1 plus 1 is going to yield you in 3. Now 1 plus 1 mathematically is 2. So that doesn't mean that there is a synergy effect. When 1 plus 1 becomes more than the value of 2, then you call that there is a synergy effect. So that is what happens in case of amalgamation. No company dominates the other company, but they try to find out a synergy effect in each other. Whereas in absorption, the bigger company dominates the weaker company. Maybe a company that is financially not stable or which is financially running under loss, the other company comes and purchases this company. Example, hope you have heard about Satyam scam, Satyam Computers. So this Satyam Computers went into scam and it was into a loss, and therefore Mahindra took over Satyam Computers. So it is an absorption where Mahindra purchased Satyam Computers and now it's called Tech Mahindra. Okay, so that is called as absorption, where one company tries to dominate the other company which is financially unstable or which is not able to sustain in the market. So hope you all understood what do you mean by amalgamation, what do you mean by absorption, and what are the primary underlying differences between amalgamation and absorption. Hope to see you all in the next video. Wishing you all a good day. Thank you.